What's the crack, guys? My name's Colm. In this video I want to talk you through why you should be picking unprocessed whole foods versus processed foods. So unprocessed whole foods are your go-to. It is literally the #1 tip you could give everyone in terms of nutrition. When you're stuck, think, is this an unprocessed whole food? How many ingredients does it have? If it has 10 ingredients, you know it's a processed food, so you know I gotta be wary here. So 90% of our diet, we should be aiming for that unprocessed whole foods, and 10% of our diet, we should be aiming for, you know, a little bit of leeway, a little bit of flexibility. We can go for that processed stuff. Processed foods are designed to give us this big reward response in your brain. It's designed to actually trigger hormones in your brain to say, oh, this is really, really good, I want to have more of this. And that has been going back for millennia, way back, because when we were running around in the bush and we were looking for food, if you came across a high fat, high sugar food, and even worse, something that was both high in fat and high in sugar and combined together, your brain would release all this response saying, eat more of this, eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more, because you don't know when your body is going to come across food again. So our body is actually designed to survive, designed to find a batch of food and actually eat as much of it as we can, because we don't know when we're going to be eating again. So that's why our brain kind of switches on and says yes, yes, yes. It's almost like this cocaine response in our brain, and the brain goes crazy and says, yeah, give me more of this food. So processed food is designed to be highly rewarding. You definitely don't want to be messing with processed fat, because that is linked to cardiovascular disease. Whereas unprocessed fat has got some really good benefits in terms of reducing our risk of cardiovascular disease, helping alleviate low mood, and helping just boost our immune system. Unprocessed fat is also really important for hormone level and brain function. We totally need unprocessed fat. And if you find that you're in a significant calorie deficit and your fat intake is really low, you might actually notice that you get really irritable. Your unprocessed food generally has more micronutrition, so it's got more vitamins and minerals. This stuff is the stuff that's taken out during the processing, which is obviously not a good idea. We need our vitamins and minerals. Unprocessed food is generally higher in protein and higher in fiber, which is important for our digestive system, and protein intake is important for our goals in order to reach our protein intake targets. Processed food, on the other hand, generally reduces the protein intake and generally reduces the fiber intake to make the food more palatable, to make it more rewarding, to make it more addictive. So as I said at the start of the video, aim for 90% unprocessed whole foods and about 10% of whatever you like. Making sure though that you do give yourself that a little bit of leeway, because you want to make your diet sustainable. You can't just go on forever and like never ever eat that bar of chocolate that you absolutely love. So that 10% of your daily intake, or save your 10% over a period of a couple of days and then go for a kind of bigger bar of chocolate if you like. Now that's for fat loss. That would be the one I recommend for fat loss. Now if you're putting yourself in a calorie surplus and you want to build muscle, I would give yourself a little bit more leeway. I would go 80% unprocessed whole foods. I would go 10% of that processed goodness that you absolutely love. And I will go another 10% in the kind of grey area. So with a lot of foods, what we're going to find is this a processed food? Is this an unprocessed food? It'll be a little bit of a grey area with certain things. Certainly certain breads, certain cereals will kind of come in that grey area. So I will give you that extra 10% to have foods in that grey area that are a little bit more palatable for you, so that you can increase that calorie intake. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You can check out all this information on everydaytoathlete.com. My name is Colm. I will see you in the next video. Slán.